And welcome back to the TSF Entertainment Channel. It's your boy Retro CG, and I am joined tonight by DJ Fresh Your Highness in the
What's going
building.
on, bro? What's going on with you?
What's up, bro? How you feeling today?
I'm hanging in there today. Yourself, bro?
I'm all good, no complaints. So we're here to talk about Bel Air Season 2, Episode 6. So we're at Episode 6, and the title was Let the Best Man Win. I think it was Let the Best Man Win. So we're like on the back half of the Season 2. Like, I hope that things start to turn up a little bit more, get a little crazy. It seems like the season has really ran by fast.
Evening, quintessential. Good
What's
evening.
up, Quintessential?
Good evening.
So what you think about the episode?
Yo, this is by far my favorite episode. Like this,
I think
it was so many gems in this episode.
Yep.
It was so many gems. Like I honestly like it. It started off when I started watching. I didn't know where it was going to go, so I was kind of hesitant, and I was like, Then when the more I kept watching it, I was like, yo, this joint, okay. I started getting like I really started getting into it. Like it was a
Got it.
whatchamacallit.
Got it. Actually, to be quite honest with you, it was my favorite episode too.
Really?
Yeah. It was my favorite episode too. You're right. It was a lot of things in here that you can pick up from this episode. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit us with that intro real quick, and we're gonna be back to talk about it. And we are back. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat. What's up? Welcome in. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button as y'all come on in. I hope y'all all had a great week. Ladies, what did y'all think about the episode? Drop y'all thoughts in the chat.
How you doing? Good evening, Miss Sharon. Who's that? Kiwan,
Quintessential, Miss Sharon. What's up, ladies? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it right now. Jazz, you just lost your girl.
I don't think so.
You just lost your girl, Jazz.
It was. I literally
no call, no show. He didn't show up. He left her messages on red, and you let the X slide right on in there. He slid right on in there. He already dropped it in her ear. Well, you got a man. You keep telling me you got a man, but why he ain't here? Why
because of you. Because of you. I mean, she knows why he wasn't there. I don't think he's going to lose her. I think it's going to become one of those. I'm trying to think. I think where she might get caught. Like, because I don't think that he's reeled her back in enough to where, like, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, she told him, I'm not trying to be your arm candy. So I don't think he's lost it yet.
Okay, Kiwan says she don't think that Jazz is lost yet. I'm gonna tell you why in a second. Yes, the family competition thing was a little sad because you kind of almost feel bad for Kyle, which is Carlton's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of almost feel like Kyle could possibly be in the same situation as Carlton with the pressure that he's getting from his father. Shout out to Bill Bellamy. I hadn't seen Bill Bellamy in a long time. Yo, every time I see him, I can't think of him in nothing else beyond How to Be a Player. The man been working for a while, but I can't see him pass. Just like shout out to Anna Marie Horsford. I can't see her in past. Let me see. Betty and Friday. She played Craig Mama in Friday.
Craig Mama in Friday. I
What else was
always,
she on?
I always remember
Amen.
her.
You remember she played
Yeah,
the chick that
uh,
was chasing the pastor. Amen.
I always remember her from Wayne's Brother.
Wayne's brother. Yes. D,
Yeah,
right? She was the
yeah,
security
D.
guard.
She was
Yeah.
security guard. Yep,
Shout out to Anna Marie. She's still working. She look good.
she does. She
So
definitely does.
in this episode, we actually meet the Banks family, and I kind of like the fact that we didn't go outside the Banks story.
Mhm.
Like every scene was at the house. It was all centered around the Banks family. So I really like that. I really wish we would have got just a little bit more time with Julius, which is Bill Bellamy, and Phil. I wish we would have got a little bit more time to. I guess he kind of answered for it when they were having a drink and icing their wounds.
Mhm.
That the father always saw potential in Phil and not him.
Mhm.
So I guess that kind of grew up in them with this whole competition thing. But it's really sad because they're actually putting that on their sons. And I think Phil realized that maybe I pushed Carlton a little too hard, because looking at how his brother treats his son, I'm like, this is fucked up.
Yeah, but that's why I love this episode, because, like I said, it was so many gems. If you were really watching it,
was ready for her Hennessy.
she was,
She was ready for
which
her
which was crazy, because then she flipped and near the end to some vodka. I was like, oh, she gonna
My
hang.
boy just wanted to taste.
But that was one of the reasons why I loved. I'm gonna touch on that too, quintessential when we get
Yes.
when we get more into it. But that's why I love this episode, because it correlated to real life. Like, this is, especially like in Black families, this is what happens. So it's like you have this competition, like whether it's brothers, aunts, uncles, cousins, whatever. Like, that's one of the reasons why I love this episode so much, because it showed like you could actually relate to it. Especially, I mean, I don't know if people, if y'all out there, y'all families have family reunions. Like my family, we have family reunions, and although like now it's like this, it wasn't like that before. It's like this not on edge, but it's kind of like this. You see them and you're like, oh, what you been up to? Yeah, I did such and such. And then it's like Bill Bellamy said to him, oh, you always got to try to one up me. So it'd be like, oh, really? Oh, yeah. Well, I did this. I was over here, such and such. And I was just like, yo, it was almost like I was sitting there watching the show, and I was watching my family. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I was like, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like this episode, because, like I said, it showed the real. You can relate to it, just real human nature.
Yeah, it was very human nature. That's a good way to put that, because there are elements in this episode that we can see within our own families. So I definitely agree with you on that. The episode started out with Phil actually teaching Vivian how to play spades. I really enjoyed that, because that's my game. I love spades.
Well, you want to teach me how to play spades, because they done took my black card years ago for now.
I got you. I
don't know how to play spades at all. Now, Uno, Tunk, holla at me.
Right
with
here.
That all day.
Right here.
Spades.
However way you want to play it, 7-up, ace high, joker, deuce, whatever. I got you on the spades table. Let's run it. So I really like that. I really like that Phil was actually trying to sit down and teach Vivian how to play spades. She was like, listen, I ain't got time for this. I got some emails and phone calls I need to make. And then he begs her to help with his mom. And they go pick her up, and she didn't want to stay at the hotel that they got her, or the penthouse hotel they had got her. That she wanted to stay at the house. Can you make the room up? I'm thinking, like, don't y'all have a domestic staff for that? Like, the domestic staff can make sure the room and stuff is straight. Go pick her up from the airport. I understood that part.
Yeah.
And then Will walks in on Carlton, who's working out, and I'm wondering. This is the second time we've seen him working out, so I'm wondering if he's using that to kind of be a diversion. To keep him from using. But either way, Carlton tells him about the family flag football game and how intense it is. And Will finally has that conversation with Carlton that we've been looking for about the Founders Award.
Yeah.
And Carlton doesn't take the news well, but he doesn't freak out at the same time. So, Carlton is annoyed by it, but at the same time, you know, he didn't take it to the next level. So I kind of like that.
I thought it. I honestly thought, like, as soon as Will left, I thought instead of him working out, I literally thought he was going to go back to his drawer and look at that bag. Is what I was thinking.
I was waiting for that.
That's what I thought.
Perfect. Yes, that would have been a perfect thing for them to have, the writers to have him go look at the bag or either use. I was waiting for that too, actually.
Yeah, that's what I thought was about to happen. But then when he started working, then he dropped them. I was like, okay, he going back to the bag. He just going to look at it, but they ain't never showed it. So, but like you said, I honestly, I agree with you too. I think that him working out is what is he's trying to, I guess, motivated, as well as he's trying to keep his mind off of it, because he knows from the last episode how worried his parents are about finding about his
him slipping and falling, and you know, not being able to transition well off the meds.
Yeah. I also wish they would have wrote in that scene him discussing with Will about the panic attack, because it was just like
mentioned but blown over.
Yeah, it was just like they had the discussion, and then it was just like at no point in time it was just like, hey, did you tell them I had a panic attack? Like, how did they find out? Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? You know, Lisa, like that should have been in there, because it was just like,
especially when they started talking about the whole panic attack. When Will was like, I'm worried about you, everybody's worried about you, whatever. That would have been a perfect rebuttal for him to say, well, they wouldn't have known about it if someone didn't tell them. You know, that could have been easily written in. So I agree, that would have been a good rebuttal. Jeffrey finally goes to Phil and Vivian and admit to them that he hasn't been honest with them, and that he needed to come clean about what he had been doing. They already put 20 on 10 and was like, yo, we know what you've been up to. We've just been waiting for you to come clean with us about it, and give him a file that they have been keeping on his son. We realize that Uncle Phil coordinated the adoption of his son, who's 22 years old and lives in London. And the adoption records are sealed.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey is also aware of the terms of the adoption, that he was not to know anything about his son's whereabouts, the family, or anything like that. And Phil is keeping true to his promise to him that I wasn't going to give you this information, even though he's low-key asking for it now. But Phil's low-key telling him that, well, you know, I'm going to keep my part of the bargain. You know, you ain't getting the information. But here's an update on, you know, how he's doing, if this helps.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that scene. Is what we had needed to see. Is what we needed to understand how they were going to react to knowing that he had been rummaging through Phil's office trying to find information. Him going around acting out. We got the normal Jeffrey back this episode. I feel like we got our regular Jeffrey back. And I didn't like the fact that they wrote him so, the last 5 episodes, they've written him like he was going to do something harmful to the family, or to Phil at the very least.
Yeah.
They made his character very ominous and dark when they didn't have to. So I really like the fact that we got closure. Well, not closure, but we got understanding as to what Jeffrey's motives are right now. Where does that sit with you? How do you feel about all that? How do y'all feel about that?
Remember, I told you last episode, if they didn't tell us what was going on with Jeffrey, I was done with it. I was like, hey, Miss Sharon, I'm right with your son. My black heart is revoked too. So he tell him he got somebody with him.
But we're gonna have to find a little site or something, an online space, and we can all play together.
But yeah, I was glad that they brought it up, because, like I said, they had been drawing it out, and I was like, if this go any longer, like you said, we're on episode 6. It didn't need to go any longer than this. So if it wasn't told on this episode, I was like, you know what? I might not even watch the rest of the season. But I'm actually glad that they spoke about it, because and it was kind of dope the way they wrote it in, because remember when what was that? Yeah, back in season 1 when Jeffrey and Uncle Phil was sparring out there on the tennis court, he had his reservations about it, and he was like, he brought up like how him and his son. So now they got the, you know what I'm saying? So they was able to write it in. So that was good. I'm just glad. Yeah, I'm just glad that they spoke about it, and I'm glad that like I said, they brought it to the forefront. And everything. I kind of wish that they would have touched on, I got the hidden camera in there, so we know.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I was like, it wasn't necessary. So, but I was just glad that he even went to him and said something, because I felt for a longer time like he wasn't going to say anything to them.
And the fact that he didn't really even have to tell them what was up, they knew what was up already. Mm-hmm. I think that told Jeffrey they've been checking me. Mm-hmm. So I really like how they did that. Uncle Phil was real smooth with that. Viv was real smooth with it. And I don't know if you peeped this or not, but Viv actually had the paperwork in her art studio. So where you was looking for the paperwork, and it was really with Viv the whole time. So I really like how they played that.
But I wonder if they moved it after he showed Viv the video footage.
Possibly. But even still, even if that's the case, I like the delivery. I like the delivery he did that, because that told me right there that Phil and Vivian were in sync. They were on the same page with how things needed to move regarding that adoption of their son,
as well as they were I don't want to say cohesive, but they were accepting like Jeffrey back in, like you know what I'm saying, like he wasn't up to nothing funny, like, you know what I'm saying. So that I like that too.
So Uncle Phil's family shows up, and we meet the family. We meet the mom first. And I really like the fact that the mom and Vivian kind of got along. She kind of made her digs at her a little bit, but she wasn't a Mother Jefferson. She wasn't a Mother Jefferson. So I really like that, because I hate when we have black families and the mother-in-law always hates the wife.
Yeah,
I hate that. I hate that dynamic, because that's not the case in all black families. But on TV, it's always portrayed that the wife always has to have a contentious relationship with her mother-in-law. So I really like the fact that they did that.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna happen. Just the way she spoke about them, like
her driving
going 80 miles an hour and all this other stuff. I literally thought, I was like, okay, because when I was watching it, it made me go back to the episode of the original Fresh Prince where his mom and pops come to visit him when he winning that award. And so, but I was like, she liked Viv. So I was like, I forgot, they got to change it. But yeah, like you said, I literally thought, I was like, okay, this going to be one of them joints where like, she don't really like Viv. She gonna make little slide comments throughout this show. And it was I kind of not wanted to see that, but I kind of wanted to see more on Anna Marie Horsford's character.
Listen, I thought she was gonna go off about that fish too. When she found out about that fish wasn't there, listen, I said, "Oh, Mama finna snap."
And then when she winked the little eye, that's when I was like, "Okay, yeah, they definitely about to have this little tit for tat episode in between them two." When she winked the eye at, I guess, I don't know, the aunts or whatever who was sitting there, I was like, "Yeah, this about to be one of them episodes. She about to go off." But like you said, I'm glad that they didn't, though, because you're right. They always, I can't even think of a show where, like, shoot, hell, even Martin. I love Martin. Martin mama didn't like Gina. So it's like, I can't even think of a show where they didn't have, especially a black show, where they didn't have the mother-in-law not liking.
And I feel like that's so overused and oversaturated. It's funny on a comedic side of things, but in a drama, we already know that was going to be on some nitpicky. Oh, you can't cook. Oh, you can't take care of my son like I do. I hate situations like that where you have a mother that's trying to be a wife and a mother to a son. I hate shows like that. So I was so glad we didn't get that with this.
I like that too, quintessential. I like that too, because I literally thought The
He was
way
gonna come in there on some jealous type ish. Yeah,
I thought, yeah, the way that Phil and especially the way that Viv had said to him, like, you know what I'm saying, y'all two so competitive. I felt like he was gonna come in like Phil was the one who made it and his brother was the one who didn't. So it's like jealousy or something like that. Yep. So yeah, I definitely like that both of them was successful. I definitely like that.
There was a hint of it. There was just a little hint of it. There was a little hint of I don't necessarily want to call it jealousy. It's not full-fledged jealousy. Maybe a little you did better than I did. So yeah. I got the whatever I do, it's got to be up here. It's got to be extra. Like when he came in, and, like when Phil said that he was a car salesman, he instantly corrected him and said, "Well, I own 10 dealerships." Great. I feel like this has been reused. This has been used before. Roscoe's family reunion. This has been used.
Oh, dang, that's right.
They could have gave him something else. He could have been. Really, I thought he was going to come in and be a lawyer as well, and that they was going to be like on opposite sides of the law. Like, you know, I do business law, I do criminal law, whatever. But I like the fact that there was competition with them. But it wasn't more centered around their careers. It was more centered around the competitive side as far as the pie contest and the sports, all that. You know, brotherly competition is what it was.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that we even got to find out why they were so competitive with each other.
Yeah, I'm glad they gave us that answer too.
Yeah.
It didn't have us thinking that it was on some jealousy thing. Like you got money and I don't have money because the brother has money too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and I like how they explained that. I like how he explained that to Will that there are two different paths to success. So yes, there's the collegiate route, and then there's also the grit and grind, and you go get out here and hustle and make somebody yourself, regardless of what obstacles or opportunities are available to you. So I like that. But some with their son just wasn't feeling right. It was some with their son because he tried to come in all cocky and arrogant or whatever, but you low key getting abused at home. Like you low key got to go to bed without something to eat or not if you don't bring home good grades or something. Like the son looked like he was like, listen, I thought old boy was gonna come across the table at him when he didn't call that 15 on them dominoes.
Nah, like to go back to your first point, I like that he told Will that like you could get it, you know, the collegiate way, get it that way. But at the same time, I didn't because, like I said, Will's so damn gullible. He didn't even pay attention to the collegiate stuff. All he paid attention to was the other side of the grit and grind. And like I said, so all of that is in his head. And that was, you know, he going back to what Doc told him.
I agree with you. They both wanted to
they both wanted to flex. So that was like the part I didn't like because I was like, maybe he should go into it like more like you know, more deeper into the, you know what I'm saying, like to say like, you know, although I got it from the grit and grind, you know what I'm saying, like you can still do it the collegiate way too.
It was the Johnson family reunion and Roscoe Jenkins. I felt like I was watching both.
I forgot about Johnson family vacation. Yeah, that was my joint. Dang, I forgot the second point. What did you say after that? You said
the son. Like I feel like the son.
I could tell immediately because the way they kept panning and zooming in back and forth on him and Carlton,
and
I was like,
facial expressions.
I could tell. I was like, yo, he going through the same thing, except for the difference is
he don't have the anxiety
coming from his pops.
Yeah.
Like his is coming from his pops where Carlton not getting that, and Carlton immediately picked up on it. It was just like as soon as he came in, I just felt I could tell because when he said like, well, I had a broken rib or something like that,
he was like, so
like, God damn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no pleasing you. So immediately I like that too. Was just like, yo, how they zoomed, like they always pan back and forth and zoomed in on them was like, yo, we're the same in a sense, but we live like two different lives.
And we're worlds apart, but going through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Quintessential. I got that whole feeling too. I got that whole vibe, like,
yeah.
maybe even not even want to go to college. I feel like that whole car dealership ain't the son thing. I agree with you on that.
I could tell that.
Yeah, I
could
could tell that
definitely
he
tell that.
wasn't
You
feeling
don't
that.
want to do that.
But I was almost kind of afraid for the son because when he kind of went off on him at the domino table, and Jeffrey was like, "It's okay, little man, it's gonna be all right." I
Yeah.
almost felt like, "Oh damn, are we gonna get a scene later on that night where they 1-on-1 and the father go beat him or something?" For like, I really was afraid for him a little bit because I was like, "Yo, he finna get pop one." You know?
You know what? I didn't see that so far off myself. Like I figured, like after that, like because especially when they kept talking about this trophy and the game and all this
It
other
was
stuff,
gonna be punishment.
I was like, "Yo, they gonna lose." And I was like, before the night, like they gonna show some scene where I guess we're like they in Carlton room or something, and they going at it, and then like Phil and Carlton come in there and break it up or something.
Yeah.
I had the exact same thoughts, literally. I had the
And then
exact.
I really felt bad for him. And I almost, when Carlton threw the game and looked over at his cousin and saw his cousin, it was like, okay, if he had not have thrown that game, he would have lost it. What would have happened that night? Like I had that feeling again when I was like, okay, if they win this game and he lose, like Buddy ain't gonna have a happy trip for the remainder of this family reunion.
I knew as soon as dude failed, I said,
Yep.
"Oh," I said,
Yep.
"Carlton gonna drop that."
Yep.
I knew that immediately. As soon as dude, I can't even remember his name, but as soon as he failed, I said, "Yo," I said, "Carlton not go." I said, "Carl," I said, "Watch, Carlton not gonna catch it on purpose."
Let's go back to Quintessential's comment. What are they doing with Ashley? Because again, I had that same question when they showed her with the uncle, and I have respect for that. That a lot of times we younger people tend to don't spend enough time with our elders that we should. So I really appreciated that. And it kind of reminds me of one of my cousins in my family that does that with our older family members that take up time with them. But for a 12-year-old girl that's not spending any other time with her cousins that are around her same age group, I found it a little bit unrealistic. And I really need them to do more with Ashley because she is a plot device. And I hate the fact because there's so much they can do with her character, but she is a plot device. She is just there to push the black movement and black empowerment movement. And that's the only thing that she's being utilized for. Like, give this girl a story arc. They gave us one. Now expand it.
This is why I said this is one of my favorite. Well, this is my favorite episode thus far this season, was because I felt like that's what they were doing in this episode. Because remember, Hillary told her, I forgot his name, but he don't talk to nobody. That's he a man of few words. He barely talks to anybody. She was able to get him to actually talk
and build a relationship with him.
And she had an actual discussion with him back and forth about because I kind of peeped it. I was like, watch, she's gonna end up breaking him down and they're gonna talk, and it's gonna be so much stuff that like she's gonna learn and she's gonna be amazed. And look what happened.
And that's exactly what happened.
He was a Tuskegee Airman, all this stuff. She's like, I've read about you, and it was crazy because it was just like, yo, that's your family. You didn't know that?
You didn't know that, right?
Yeah, like that
also tells you how disconnected they are from their family. Because she didn't know that, right?
Yeah, and she didn't know that. So, like when they did that,
celebrated throughout the family, and I like how they did that at the end, where they actually celebrated him towards the end of the episode. So I like that.
And I feel like that was because of Ashley.
Yeah, because of Ashley. Yep.
So hopefully after this, they will start to see her character a little bit more. But I felt like that's what they were doing in this episode because, like I said, this probably besides the one before, I forgot the teacher that they were doing the protest for, Miss Hughes. Like this probably the most we've seen screen time since then of Ashley on camera.
Same thing with Hillary. I need them to do something with Hillary too, because when she's in scenes with the family and stuff, she's always standoffish. Remember when she was at Ashley's birthday party on the yacht, she was standoffish. I need for her. I need for her character to develop a little bit more too, because she's just there, and the only plot device they're using her for is the influencer house and the whole Jazz relationship. But I want to see Hillary back to her roots that they introduced us to. And speaking of Hillary, she's texting. Well, they were in the kitchen breaking down the cleaning the collards and picking them and getting them ready for dinner. And Hillary was making the pie, and she used that opportunity to ask Will, like, "Yo, what's up with Jazz? Like, he's leaving my messages on red. He's not answering my messages. I thought everything was cool." And Ashley and Will break it down to her, like, "Yo, you inviting your ex to the art show wasn't cool." So they all kind of related to why Jazz was ghosting her. But
only thing I didn't like about that scene, I hate to cut you off, was Ashley putting herself, because I was like, yo, you like what, 11, 12?
Right.
I was like, you can't even resonate with that. But it was like, I felt like that should have came out of Will's mouth versus hers.
I agree with that.
Because when she said it, I was like, sure.
Mind your business, little girl.
I was like a child. Like, you ain't even been in no
relationship. Folks music over here. Mind your business.
Yeah, I was like, you ain't even been in no relationship or whatever. But I was like, I forgot. Then I started thinking, like, you know what? It's a new age. She probably done seen stuff from TV, movies, all this other stuff. So maybe that's why she felt.
Speaking of Ashley and relationships, what would have really been like? I really wanted to see her have somewhat of a, I'm not gonna say disliking, but they set it up in such a way last season where she's supposed to be having conflict with Will right now. Like, she's supposed to not be feeling Will at his best right now, because the little girl that she was into actually was into Will and not her, and she was disappointed by that. So I really need to see that kind of play out a little bit more, where she would kind of be a little antagonistic towards Will. Not necessarily, just flat out hatred towards him, but I really expected her to be a little bit more standoffish with Will this season because of that. And it seemed like they just forgotten all about the fact that she was heartbroken by the fact that the little girl didn't want her and wanted her cousin. So I really wanted them to play that a little bit more.
Well, I mean, it was a play on from the Fresh Prince episode where I can't even think of her name. I was trying to, where Ashley friend like Carlton, and remember that just lasted the episode. So I figured,
that lasted the episode. You're right.
Yeah, so I kind of figured that was
Ashley friend was in the Carlton instead of Will. Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, like I said, she was close to Will in the show, so I figured on the series, like, it was going to be something that they were just going to blow that over. But at this point, but like you said, it's weird because they did that, and then it's like we don't hear anything else about her finding herself.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, so did she find herself, or what is?
And
they
made it a whole vibe with her sneaking off to go hang out with the friends, and she told Hillary about herself or whatever. All that seems to have just been forgotten about.
Yeah,
or put on the shelf, and we're going to reuse it at a later time. It's like they're almost reintroducing Ashley's character versus how we were introduced to her. So they're redeveloping her character. For some reason, I don't know why they changed the narrative with her character, but the nuance with her character now seems to be a little bit different than how they introduced her last season. No, she did not tell her parents about it. That's why I'm going for all that. Like, they made such a big situation about it last season, but then they just kind of left it on the drawing board. Like, I don't think we like the way this is going.
I wonder if maybe because of I'm sure they probably heard the negative feedback.
Maybe that's what.
And backlash from that episode from people and all this other stuff. They probably decided to take.
And the fact that she was too young, I feel like that storyline was a little too heavy for a 12-year-old. Like,
I mean, it was.
Yeah, I felt like that was a little too heavy,
But I guess they felt like, like you said, we're in a new age, new time. So yeah, let's put that in there. Yeah, that's. But
and too heavy for that character, because we all look at Ashley's character as the girl next door, and that's how she was introduced to us all throughout our lives growing up, whatever. So to take that character in such a different direction, that all the character we see bits and pieces of the original characters in new characters as well. But with Ashley, that was a whole 360. So you're right, maybe that didn't go over well.
Yeah.
And I think now maybe the network even weighed in on it and said, let's put that story out on pause and let's focus on whatever.
Yeah.
Viv finds out that Erica has been calling her husband, and she's like, yo, what's up with that? Which we talked about last week. We were trying to figure out what was up with that. And she was like, yo, I see you. she said enough for us to know that goes back to what the ladies were saying last week, that there was some previous dealings between Erica and Uncle Phil.
Yeah.
And it seems like it may have happened in their college years or whatever. So Viv ain't really warm to the idea that she's having contact with her old man. What you think that's going to happen with that?
I think here's what I'm hoping is not going to happen, but I have a feeling that they might write this in. I'm hoping that it doesn't go into where like Phil takes it, you know what I'm saying, merges with her firm or joins her firm, etc., or whatever, and then she tries to push up on Phil. That's what I'm hoping is not going. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, because it's like we got enough of the
whole Reed situation.
Yeah, that, and like it's becoming too common in our shows. It's always got to be, this is gonna happen, and like Phil's gonna brush her off, and then she's gonna make his life hell and all this other stuff.
Ladies, what y'all think? What y'all think is getting ready to happen with this whole Erica and Phil storyline? Okay, Quintessential says she thinks that Uncle Phil's going to take the new position. Can I ask why do you feel like he's going to take the new position? Because I kind of feel like he's going to take it too.
I'm hoping
I feel like he's not going to have a choice but to take the position, because he didn't get the client back. And remember, they had said last week that that was his top client, and that if he didn't get the client back, that the firm was going to be in trouble. So I feel like the only way to save his firm per se is to merge with hers. So that's why I feel like he's going to take the position. Now, if you feel some other different reason, Quintessential, let me know in the comment, because I'm curious as to what your thoughts on why.
I don't think he. I'm thinking it's going to come down to it, and then either something's going to happen or he's going to pull something off to where he doesn't have to. Like that's what I'm thinking, because like I said, because then at this point this person will have to be a reoccurring character and not just like a one-time character or so.
I think that she's gonna be around.
Or
okay, Miss Sharon,
he might do type of a hostile takeover or something.
Okay, Miss Sharon says she thinks that Phil's going to take the position as well, but not to try to get with Erica. I agree with that too, Miss Sharon. I think that if he's going to take the position, it's going to be an effort to save his business, his firm. But Erica going to want some in return.
That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that they don't put she's going to... This is what's going to happen. I'm hoping they don't
put out.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm hoping that's not what the situation is. That's what I'm hoping. So I'm hoping that they, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't put that in there. But it's possible. It's very, very.
She agree with Miss Sharon. Okay. All right. So all the ladies feel like Uncle Phil's gonna take a position.
You know why? Because y'all used to seeing that on TV all the time. That's why y'all feel that way.
Y'all low key want Uncle Phil to crack her back. That's what's gonna happen. LaMarcus shows up to the family reunion, and we see that Grandma, happy to see him too. So everybody in the family loves him. We get a short explanation as to why him and Hillary broke up. apparently he was. I mean, he was an NFL draft pick, right? He was an NFL draft pick, and he was probably out there getting money and stuff thrown at him or whatever, having the time of his life. It seems like they were a little bit younger, so he may not have been the best boyfriend. It seems like he may have used Hillary to be his showpiece, and she didn't respond well to that, especially with her trying to be in the limelight herself. So it seems like that created a wedge in their relationship, and they decided that it would be best for them to break up. Hindsight is 2020. Now he's looking back on that like, I want my girl back. I want my family back. I miss my family, because we see that he gets along with the family. He's into kids. He was playing with one of her little cousins or whatever. And the fact that he's being patient, where I really like how they're actually doing his character. I really like how they're doing his character, because I would be LaMarcus. Like, listen, we didn't break up on bad terms. I still got feelings for you. Like, I hear that you got a old man now, and I respect that. But I also see that he's not here right now, and you dealing with that. You sitting around here at your family reunion, pouting.
I mean,
come on over here and let's rekindle what we had. And when they went to go dance in the Soul Train line, I was like, that's it. He was like, come on out here and have a good time. That's our song. I felt like right then and there, Jazz, you just lost about 20 points, because you let the X-Man. You gave him an opportunity. You gave him an opportunity. I understand why you in your feelings. We rooted for you. But that was last week. Now you need to show up and be that man that you trying to not be perceived as. You already say you feel disconnected from the family. You already feel this type of way. That should have been motivation for you to have your ass there at that family reunion, mixing, mingling with her family, and creating a relationship just like he had. He built a relationship with her family. You think that you're supposed to get it organically because you're cool with Will. No, it don't work like that. You got to come in and do the work.
I don't even think it was. I don't even think he thinks that. I think it's at the same time he just felt like everything is so rushed, because, like we said, he's way more mature.
What's up, Miss Honey?
Hillary. What's going on, Miss Honey? He's way more mature than Hillary. So he probably look at it like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you threw that curveball at me, your parents coming over. Like, out of nowhere, we announced we together, etc., or whatever. Then you met my parents. So it's like, now I'm about to meet a whole family. Like, okay, wait a minute, like, what we doing here? And then, like you said, of course, he was in his feelings. So it was one of them joints where, like, he was like, like, I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Because you literally brought him here and we didn't have a discussion about it. Like, he just pops up, and like, the fact that, you know what I'm saying, you still in contact with him, and he could just pop up and do this and do that. And then of course, once he saw how cool he was with, the family, Uncle Phil and them, it was like, oh, well, this is a wrap. Like, for me, like, they, you know what I'm saying, he wasn't welcome open arms like that with me, which shows me like, okay, he don't really rock with me like that, like how he do this dude, which showed like it was some history there. So I mean, I understand why he didn't show up. If I was in that situation, I might not have showed up my damn self. But
I like the fact that he. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, bro.
Oh no, you good.
I like the fact that he brought awareness to why we're in the situation that we're in right now. You called for me. So, and you weren't, well, off camera, I'm going to say this. She wasn't clear in the reason why she called for him.
That's true.
So how that conversation should have went was, hey, LaMarcus, because of your celebrity status, I need you to do me a solid.
Yep.
I got this influencer house thing going on. We struggling to try to bring in followers or whatever the case may be. I need you to do me a solid. However, I have moved on. I got an old man now, so I'm not calling you back into my life for a intimate relationship. I'm calling you back in my life for I need you to do me a solid. Had she been upfront with her motives as to why she reached out to him, then he would have a different approach. But his approach is, this is the family that I missed. This is my girl. I got a chance.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not necessarily feeling like LaMarcus is moving in a shady way.
Yeah.
Exactly, quintessential. She was not clear on the purpose. She doesn't seem to be 100% okay with Jazz. And I agree with that. And the reason why she's not 100% okay with Jazz is because Jazz is not comfortable with her lifestyle and her choices and her business endeavors or whatever the case may be. He don't fit into that like a hand to a glove.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little reticence with her on that because she don't necessarily know how to be with him. See, with LaMarcus, she can be herself.
Mm-hmm.
And he can fit in with her family. He got his own money or whatever the case may be. With Jazz, it's like, it's the whole going back to the episode where she met his parents. She's got to be someone else with Jazz, whereas with LaMarcus, she really can be who she is.
Yeah. I also think it's just history. Like he went to Bel Air as well. I'm sure Hillary went to Bel Air the same way like the rest of all of them are going. So it's history there. Like, I guess I don't know how long they were together, but it's clear that they were together for a while. So like everybody think like, oh, because remember what was it the last? No, it wasn't the last episode. I think it was third episode, maybe after she whatchamacallit, Viv said to her, Jazz is not the usual dude that you date.
Yeah.
So I think like this is what they're just not used to it, and she's not used to it herself. But she just doesn't know how to what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say accept it, but like she just doesn't know how to familiarize herself with it because she's never been with that type of person before.
Yeah,
she's always used to a certain person, so she's like out of her comfort zone.
And he realizes that because he's mentioned that to her as well. Like, listen, I'm not the typical kind of guy. I might be attractive to you, and that's understandable, but I'm usually not the type of guy that you settle with. So
yeah.
And she does seem disappointed with herself, but what do you think is going to happen? Because Jazz finally decides to respond to her message after he's been ghosting her all day long. And what's she doing? She out there on the dance floor with LaMarcus now. So she missed the message. So now that's going to put him further in his feelings because, like, I text you back and I told you to slide through. I'll leave the door unlocked, but you didn't show up. I don't think she's going to. You should have responded to her when she was sending you the 20 million texts all day.
Well, remember, before dude came in, she was texting.
Yeah.
So I guess I felt like they were having kind of a back and forth.
They were already.
They were already. Okay. And then, like, she was waiting, and then dude just happened to come in, and then he was just like, yeah, slide through. I feel like her last text was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to talk and see whatever.
Point.
And then that's when he sent the text back, like, slide through.
This is what's going to send him right on over to H2 Ivy. This is what's going to send his ass right on over there to H2 Ivy. She going to get old boy.
And I feel like after that, I think either two things for the next episode. Either she's not going to show up, or she's going to show up like
too late.
Yeah, she's going to show up like hella late, and he's going to be pissed off.
Yep.
That's the only thing I can see. I doubt that anybody go live or anything like that. One person that I was actually surprised to not see in this entire episode was Lisa.
I said the same thing. I wanted Lisa to be at the reunion.
I was for sure she was going to pop up at the reunion.
And I really wanted to see a little bit more of, because she kind of dropped the bombshell on us last week with Wills, saying that she didn't want to be friends with him anymore. So I really wanted a little bit of that to spill over to some uncomfortableness, because we needed Will to have a distraction in this episode, because I felt like Will spent too much time in grown folk business this episode. Yeah. When he rolled up on Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv and said, we need to help Jeffrey get his family back, I looked at him like, you needed this. When he rolled up on Jeffrey And it was like, I thought that we were supposed to keep it 100. Why you didn't tell me about your son? It ain't your freaking business, sir.
It's your business.
You're 17 years old. Get out of my face.
But I guess he felt like,
but at the
out of
same time, I
everybody-
really like the bond between Jeffrey and Will and the
Mhm.
chemistry and the energy. Like
Yeah.
Jeffrey kind of needed Will's affirmation because ultimately that's what it was. It was affirmation. He gave Jeffrey that feeling of acceptance that your son would be proud of the type of father you are. Your son would like you as a father. Jeffrey needed to hear that because we see that Jeffrey is fighting an inner internal war that I'm an ain't shit father because I gave up my son. I ran with a gang. You know,
Yeah.
all these things that we suspected the reason why he's not with his son is he gave us that in
Yep.
this episode as to why he's not with his son.
He
So
did.
hearing Will, someone's round about the same age as his son, a little younger, tell him that these are the things that your son would love to know about you, I felt like Jeffrey needed to hear that. I just didn't like the approach. Like, nobody's entitled to tell you anything about their life, Will. You
Yeah.
came to Bel Air with a whole secret yourself and didn't want to tell the girl that you was, laying with.
Yep.
So, it was a little condescending for me.
I mean, I guess he felt like because him and I guess because he felt like him and
we got a little break from her this week.
I guess because he felt like after the whole situation with with his pops and how Jeffrey felt, you know what I'm saying, and keeping it one, like you said, keeping it 100. I guess he felt like, you know what I'm saying, that's what bonded them closer. Where he's like, yo, I can, you know what I'm saying, like I can come at Jeffrey like that or whatever. But yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, bro, like you coming in, you looking through and I was shocked that Carlton knew. Charlotte was like, yeah, he has a son. I was like, oh wow, okay, so it's just a secret to you, Will. So
yeah. And that's only because you haven't been around the family as long.
yeah,
Everybody know this and know that this is not something that we necessarily talk about.
Mhm.
We respect Jeffrey's privacy, but at the end of the day, everybody knows about it. But at the same time, nobody confronts him about it. So
Exactly.
Will's that one that pushes the envelope. He pushes the envelope with everyone. But I need for someone to put Will in his place 1 or 2 times and let him know, like, listen, you need to fall back and focus on you because you came here with problems. Don't try to be the solution to everyone else's. And I hate that's how they're writing his character. They're writing his character that Will is the savior of everyone else's problems. He came in and helped Uncle Phil with his campaign when Uncle Phil was low with the black voters. He came in and helped Carlton with his addiction. He's helping Ashley with her teacher. He's helping Jeffrey come to resolution about his son. Like, quit writing Will as the hero to everyone else's problems when the man has problems of his own that are unresolved.
I mean,
And again, a great opportunity for them to have brought his mother out as well for the family reunion. Again, she was such an involved character last season, and now she's barely even spoken of in this season. It's almost like Will's emancipated.
I mean, that's kind of how it was in the show, though. Like, I remember
she
her.
showed up for special events, though. She showed up for holidays.
I
and
remember
special events.
seeing her.
I guess we'll see her at the next holiday then at the next holiday.
Yeah, I remember seeing her.
They
What?
put on a layer jet for Will's birthday. I mean,
Yeah. But yeah, they definitely.
But she didn't want to see Will. She's like, she over that. She gonna start.
I definitely agree with that. Like she at some, and I think at some point, I think maybe we'll probably get her before the end of the season is out. I think her character will come back probably before the end of the season is out. Them writing Will as the hero, in a sense, it's kind of still like they're just following the original
the
Fresh
DNA. They're following the DNA.
Because I kind of remember a lot of episodes where like he was and whatnot, like that he was kind of the one helping everybody and he had own problems with himself. But I get where you're going with it. It's just like he's the one that just comes in and is supposed to like fix everything. And it's like this is supposed to be a 17-year-old boy. Like I don't know how he got all this power, but I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
Last thing I want to talk about is Will decides to again approach Carlton, and I think after the aftermath of the competition with the cousin and Carlton throwing the game, and I think everyone pretty much realized what Carlton had did. So Uncle Phil sits down and tells Carlton he's proud of him for what he's done. Will comes up to him and like, listen, I see what's going on with your uncle and your cousin and all that. I don't want that to necessarily be us with this whole Founders Award, but I'm gonna let you know that I'm gonna go ahead and stay in this thing, and I hope that a little competition between me and you ain't gonna mess things up with us. And Carlton's like, yeah, game on, and that's what I needed. Carlton, that's what I need. Carlton, let your hang and talk your talk, talk your ish, Carlton. Like, listen, you may have more athletic abilities and skills. I got this here, so let's go toe to toe.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad that they're both going to go after the Founders Award. I just do not want Will to win it.
I don't think
Carlton to get a win. We need Carlton to get a win. I really like the writing that they're doing for Carlton this season. They're making him a lot more likable. They're making him a lot more less spoiled rich kid.
Yeah.
And more in tune with what's happening with others around him. Just like what he decided to do for his cousin. Because if it would have been me, I wouldn't be shit about the cousin, because the cousin came in as an ass for the beginning. I was like, so, well, fuck it. That's him and his dad. But I felt like last season Carlton wouldn't have cared about that.
Yeah.
So I need for them to give Carlton a win. He don't lost the girl. He don't got kicked off the lacrosse team. He don't lost the other girl that he was trying to mess on. So I need for them to give Carlton a win. And the best way that they can give Carlton something that he can hang his hat on and feel good about himself is let him win that Founders Award. But we know that they're not going to do that. They're going to let Will win that Founders Award, and that's going to have Carlton spiral out of control, and now he's going to become Cokehead Carlton again. Watch what I say.
Well,
if he don't win that award, he's going to slip and fall.
One, I'm hoping they don't write that.
That's what's going to happen.
Two, I kind of got a feeling that asshole Connor is going to get it. Like, neither one of them are going to win.
Nah, I'll be satisfied with that too.
Three,
with that.
I have a feeling that it's going to be something that Will does that's going to jeopardize or either get him removed from the running for that award, because like I said, he's so hell-bent on proving that he can do it on his own with his AAU team, and then listening to Doc. I think it's going to be something. He's going to do something stupid, which is going to mess up that running, because he wouldn't even be taking it serious if Doc wouldn't have never said nothing to him. Because remember, he told Uncle Phil, like, I will gladly drop out of the running so that Carlton can have it. And then, you know what I'm saying? But I also think the reason why Carlton changed his mind was because of the simple fact that what his father said to him, like, yo, I know you did it on purpose. And then, you know what I'm saying, they show the whole scene between his cousin and his, Bill Bellamy's character. They embrace, and then he tells him, like, I don't ever want to make you do anything that you don't want to do, and I'm proud of you. And I think, like, you could tell by Carlton's reaction, like, oh, like, wow, okay, I thought he was like my uncle, and he's not. And I think that's what made him, when Will said something like, you know what, nah, it's cool. Like, I like a little competition. And I think that's what got his you know what I'm saying, his confidence up, is when his pops told him, like, yo, I'm proud of you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm rooting for you.
Right.
And he probably felt like, he was rooting for Will, but now that he's like, oh, he's rooting for me. Okay, let's get it. Let's go at it. So, but I'm hoping, man, if they do that and Will win, I don't know if I could watch the rest of the season. I'm hoping they don't. Either. That's not going to be good. Like, but I just have a feeling it's going to be a plot twist in there somewhere.
Yeah, I need Connor to win. I need Connor to win. I need both of them to help each other step through the fact that neither one of them won. I can accept that. I would really prefer Carlton to win. But overall, I thought it was a very good episode. We need episodes like this. Sometimes they come across as a little slow, but in comparison to what we've gotten in the previous episodes, it was more about what was going on with the rest of the characters and less with Will.
Yep.
Even though Will was still a plot device to kind of push the narrative forward, we got a little backstory with Uncle Phil. We got a little backstory with Jeffrey. So we needed to see that. We needed to have episodes like this that are not centered around the main character. So I like that. Yeah. All right, guys. For those of you who are watching Power Ghost Season 3, come on back. Later on tonight, we'll have our first impressions posted after this episode. We're going to go ahead and work on that. We'll have our first impressions of the episode posted. And then come on back Sunday at 6 o'clock Eastern Time for our live review. We love to hear you guys' thoughts and theories on what's happening with Power.
Yep.
So y'all come on back and check us out. Make sure y'all hit that like button on your way in and out. Drop your comments. If anything we forgot to talk about tonight, y'all want to expand upon some of the other things we already talked about, drop them in the comments. We'll hit you guys back. Fresh, you got anything else, bro?
No, that's it. I'm just waiting to see what happens now since Hillary wasn't at her phone.
We'll see. Hopefully next week. All right, y'all. We up out of here. We'll see y'all.
All right. Salute.